Hello everyone, my name is Joe from Backpack. Today I'm going to talk about how to use Backpack Exchange from account opening to trading spot, perpetuals, and also on margin. And for who don't know about Backpack, Backpack is one of the most innovative and also the most capital efficient crypto exchange in the industry. You're going to find why later in the video. In this video, I put timestamps in description page. That means you can skip to wherever section you want to go. Okay, let's start from the account openings. So if you do not have a Backpack Exchange account yet, please scroll down a little bit and you find a Backpack Exchange invitation link. And please click the link and you find this page. To open up an account and start trading, you have to do the KYC as well. So let's do it. And first of all, you're going to input the email that you're going to use for the login and also the password. Please check the agreement and also the policy. And if you agree to those, click it and sign up. And you have to go through this weird, it's called capture and confirm. And it says an email was sent to your inbox. So let's check your inbox. You got this email. Backpack Exchange, verify your email. And verify your email by clicking this, you're going to verify your email and go to the next step. And once you verify your email, you're going to come to this page. And I assume you're individual, so please click individual. If you're business or company, please click business, okay? But let's get it going for individuals. And from here, you have to submit your personal information to do the KYC. And this process might slightly change depending on your where you live. However, nothing is difficult. So let's complete it. And once you provided all the information, please click next. And what you have to do next is verify your identity. So let's click continue. Now it says, let's get verified. Now what you have to do is to submit all the required documents. And you can choose between those two devices, your laptop or your mobile. This time, all my required documents are in my laptop, so I'm going to use my laptop. So if I use my laptop, continue on this device. And I'm saying all countries except USA. I'm not a US citizen, so I'm clicking this and continue. And it says, select type and issuing country of your identity document. And also, you have to submit residential permit for the countries that you chose. Please continue. And what we're going to do next is to check our liveliness. Get your camera ready, it says, right? So I'm going to click continue, and I'm going to allow this camera to be used for this check, right? And like this, right? Okay, it's very quick. And the next is to upload a document to confirm your addresses. This time, I'm going to provide a bank statement. You can also submit utility bill or other government issued documents that you can prove you're living certain area, right? And once it's uploaded, please click continue. Once your verification is finished, you're going to receive email like this, ID successfully verified. Congratulations, now you can start trading on Backpack, okay? However, sometimes you might receive this email, ID verification under review. This happens when some of the documents are a little bit blurry or something like that, but don't worry about it. Backpack is going to check your documents manually, and if there's no issue, you're going to get the green light very soon. And going back to this email, if you click sign in, and please use your registered email and password to log in. And if you're logged in, it is going to be on this page. And sometimes your KYC is not done. However, you can still check all the functions that's available to you. For example, spot, futures, lending, and also if you're interested how Backpack is performing. From here, click more and stats. You can find all the stats that's available to you. You can check total volume, of interest, asset under custody, total lent, and so on. This is very interesting, right? And let's get back to the main page. And the next thing I wanted to do is to create a sub-accounts. On Backpack, margins are calculated based on each account. So that means if you take a leverage position, your collateral is going to be everything in your account or sub-account. So please make a separate account to use the leverage trading. So now, how can I create the sub-accounts, right? And going up and here, click it, and you see sub accounts. My case, M. I don't know why it's M, but click M and add sub accounts. And you have to name it, or you can name it. Let's say BTC and add sub accounts. Okay, so let's make a deposit now. We have two options. First one is deposit from Backpack wallet. And second one is deposit from external wallet, including other centralized exchanges. Whichever is fine, but we're going to go over both of them today. I'm going to go over the second option first, and then the first option, depositing from Backpack wallet, I'm going to explain it later. So when you're depositing from external wallet, you're going to click deposit here and external sub-accounts cash. We choose external this time. And I'm going to deposit USDT this time. So click USDT from assets and network, depending on your preference, but I prefer this time Solana. And I see this QR code or wallet addresses. But if you change this QR code to, let's say, Ethereum or Tron, we're going to see different addresses. But this time, I'm going to use Solana address, okay? So now I'm going to copy this address first and going to the other app that you're using. This time, I'm going to use my mobile app to show you. And transferring USDT and withdraw. And to the address, I'm going to put address here, paste. And network, I'm going to choose Solana. And amount, I'm going to transfer $1,000 and withdraw. And it's done. I think every exchange has a different processes, but please follow the instruction of your exchange. To see if we received the $1,000 in my account, we can click here, portfolio. Now we see $1,000 here, right? And now what we're going to do is transfer the money to our sub accounts. Actually, it is not you must make a sub account to trade, but I want to show you this today because we are going to experience the most capital efficient crypto exchange, which is Backpack, okay? Now, I want to move the money to my sub account, which is called Sol Basis. It doesn't really matter what it's called, but I'm going to transfer money to this account. Click here, transfer in, and sub accounts, I click. And here, asset, I click USDT, and from main to Sol Basis. And I'm going to send, let's say, all the USDT, and click here, and transfer. Now it's reflected onto Sol Basis. Click it, and you see your USDT here. Okay, this is the deposit from other exchanges. Now I want to show you how to deposit from Backpack wallet. But before that, you have to have a Backpack wallet, right? Now, please scroll down a little bit and find Backpack wallet download link in my description page. If you click it, you can download both mobile and extension version of Backpack wallet. I recommend you to download both. If you click Chrome, you go into this website and it should be appeared as download. So just download it, it's very easy. And if you click App Store or Google Play, the QR code is going to appear. So scan it, download it, that's very easy. Once you download the app, on the upper left hand side, if you click Solana mark, you see something like this, and you click this setting button, you see this Backpack wallet or Backpack exchange now. You can log into the exchange from here, and once you log in, your wallet and also the exchange is going to be connected. And once you're connected, please click deposit here, and external, and asset USDT, and on the bottom, you see deposit from wallet. And choose the amount. I'm depositing $1,000 again. And wallet, Solana. I put my wallet, and I choose my wallet here, and click next. And you make sure everything is fine. Click again, deposit. And if it's a browser version, you have to log in to the wallet and check the details. And if you're fine, click approve. And done. Now you see $1,000 coming in. Okay, let's go to the trading next. However, one thing we have to be careful is that on Backpack, we're not using USDT to trade. We are going to use USDC to trade on spot. So we have to convert this USDT to USDC. Let's go to the spot. And now we choose USDT over USD. Okay, now let's convert the USDT to USD. We have a choice of limit, market, and also conditional orders, but this time I'm just going to use a market order, which is quite a fast execution. So click it, and then all the amounts, I'm going to convert to USD and make 100% and sell. Boom, it's very easy. And on your accounts, you have now US dollar. Now you can trade spot, perp, or other things on the Backpack exchange. Let's go to spot first, and let's trade Bitcoin. And you're going to change the currency pair to now Bitcoin USD. Now we have multiple kinds of orders that we can place. One is limit, one is market, and we have multiple orders here, the special orders, conditional, scaled order, and TWAP. I think a lot of you want to use TWAP or scaled order, so I'm going to explain to you later, but let's start from limit. The limit order is to place an order at a specific price for a specific amount, and you can trade if somebody else wants to sell at the same price. If nobody wants to sell, you're not going to get sell or buy either. So let's say you're going to sell either 0.001 Bitcoin, or you can choose using this gauge, or you can directly put US dollar amount here. Let's say 1,000, or let's say 500. Oops, yeah, 500 US dollar worth of Bitcoin at, let's say, here. You can click on the order board to what price you want to sell and buy. And once you place an order, you're going to find your order here. Oh, okay, it's filled. But once you place an order, you're going to see your order here, open order, but it's gone. But you're going to find the details here. And once your order is executed, you're going to see your balance changed. Now we have roughly 500 worth of Bitcoin and here. And if you want to sell at the limit, it's in the same process. Before we go into the market order, I want to explain one more thing. It's called BBO. It's located here. Let's click it here. And on the price, it says BBO. BBO stands for best bid and offer. Bid is the buying interest, which is indicated as a green, and offer is the selling interest, which is indicated as a red here on the order board. And when you buy Bitcoin as BBO, you're going to place an order at the level of lowest offer price, meaning selling interest price. So let's say you want to buy Bitcoin now at a BBO, you're going to sell is around like 900-ish. So if you want to buy Bitcoin as BBO order, you're going to place a buy order at the lowest selling interest as possible. So your order is likely to fill very quickly. However, your order is quite a big for the lowest selling interest. You might not be filled for the whole amounts. Now, what's the difference between BBO order and market? Now, let's say you want to buy Bitcoin as market order. You're going to take out orders on the order board as much as amount you want to buy. Doesn't matter at what price. If you want to buy 100 Bitcoin at a market price, that means you're going to buy up all the way till wherever you can fill that 100 Bitcoin. So you have to be quite careful about the liquidity. However, you're going to use the BBO order. You're going to place that order at the lowest level of selling interest at that time, which is safer in a way. However, some of your order might not be filled and left out. Now you see the difference? Okay, what's next? I think we already went over the market order, so we're going to click here. And now I want to talk about some of the special orders, which is scaled order, TWAP, and conditional. However, I believe scaled order and also TWAP are the most common special orders that people use. So I'm going to talk about two of these today. So the scaled order is you're going to place an order between two ranges you decide. For example, so let's say you want to buy Bitcoin between 100K to 90K, and how much you want to buy, let's say 1,000 US dollar. And between those two prices, 100K and 90K, you're going to buy 1,000 US dollars, but how many orders do you want to place? So 1,000 divided by, let's say, 2 orders or 10 orders, or we could put up to, I think 50 orders at this moment. So we could also put 50 orders. Let's say we put 50 orders and buy. That means we are going to place 50 orders equally between 100K and 90K. You could also change the amount of Bitcoin by order depending on the price. Here you can choose flat or increasing or decreasing, whichever you want, whatever you want, you can choose. I'm not going into too much details, but this is very, very useful. When you want to buy the dip, you can put order between, let's say for now, maybe 110K to 100K or 90K. You can put, let's say, buy 1 Bitcoin with the 50 orders. So you can immediately put the 50 orders between those two prices for the amounts that you want to buy. This is quite useful. But also at the same time, you can place this order for the sell. When you take a profit for the certain price range, this is quite useful. Please remember this, how to use this. And if you're not really interested in keeping this order anymore, you can cancel all and it's all gone. This is quite useful, right? And the next thing I want to explain to you is TWAP. What is TWAP? But have you heard of dollar cost average? This is kind of the similar concept, but you decide how often or how long you're going to buy this Bitcoin for. Let's say you're going to buy Bitcoin, total quantity, you put, this time I don't know how much I can buy, but 0. Or let's say I'm going to use 100% of my USDT or USD to buy Bitcoin. And let's say you want to buy Bitcoin for the next 7 days, and every hour or 2 hours, or you can say every 6 hours. And you can place an order. This is something we can do with the TWAP. This is quite amazing, right? This is very, very useful. And these order types are not just for spot, but also that's applicable for futures too. So if you go to the futures tab and you see all the same thing, except we additionally see TP and SL. TP is take profit, SL is stop loss. Let me explain to you what it is. So let's say I'm going to buy Bitcoin here at how much we want to buy. Let's say I'm going to do buy the deep order. So I'm going to put buy order at 115,000 and I'm going to buy, let's say 0.1 Bitcoin and TP and SL. This is something I'm going to place. So take profit, once we buy the Bitcoin, where do you want to take a profit at? This is the take profit order. So let's say if I can buy a Bitcoin at 115,000, I want to take a profit at, let's say 120K. Yes. So for the buy order, take profit order should be above the buying price. Okay. And on the other hand, stop loss order, SL, stop loss order is going to be below the buying price for the buy order. So let's say I'm going to take a loss at 114,000. Okay. And I can place an order like this. So this order is not filled yet. So I can check here, open orders, go down below, and BTC perp, limit order, it's a buy long order. And my buying price is 115,000 and quantity is 0.1 Bitcoin. And your take profit and stop loss order is going to be showed up here. And if you want to cancel it, you can just click cancel. Boom. And one thing I want to highlight is that we can do the margin order for the spot. What is margin order? Let's take a look. So spot, and you get to choose margin. Margin is also available for the market order too. And what we have to be careful is that it says balance. Balance meaning how much I can possibly buy with my collaterals or monies in my account. And this is going to be changed depending on how much leverage you're going to take. Cross margin overview, it says here 7 times. If I change that to, let's say, 5 times and click confirm, this value is going to change. I don't like to take too much leverage. So I'm going to change that to, let's say, maybe just 3%. It could be go up to 10, but depending on your preference. Or I can just say 5 or 6. Let's just say 5 and confirm. And I'm going to now buy 0.02 Bitcoin, which is more money than I have, right? And that means I'm going to borrow about $866 US at the interest rate of 5.97%, which is a market rate on this exchange. And quantity, meaning 0.02 Bitcoin, is 2,366 US dollar. And this is market order. Let's place it, okay? Click buy. Okay, this is executed. And what's happened to my account? Balance, I'm going to have now 0.02 or a little bit more Bitcoin. And look at this. Now my USDC is in negative, meaning I borrow some money. If you see borrows, I see borrow amounts. So we have to be careful about this. Now I'm borrowing money to buy Bitcoin. And when we want to, let's close this position, I have to sell this Bitcoin to repay this amount, right? So let's say I'm going to sell 0.1 Bitcoin, and at the market, I'm going to sell. So the total amount is not changed, but my balance has been changed, right? So this is the margin trading. Oh, sorry, one more thing that you have to enable before you start trading is auto lend. What's auto lend? So the auto lend function allows you to automatically lend your asset and make you earn some interest on them. And also, lending mechanism of Backpack is quite amazing, and that is one of the factors that make Backpack the most capital efficient crypto exchange in the world. You know why? Because you get to earn interest on 2 things. One is the profit that you're making from your perpetual tradings at the rate of USD lending. Now let's say lend, and now the interest rate that you lend is 6.82%, which is quite a lot, right? So you get to earn 6.82% on your profit. Another great thing is that when you take a perpetual leverage positions, you put collateral and you take, let's say, buy Bitcoin, right? But this is not the end of the conversation. You also get to earn interest on your collateral. Other exchanges don't have this system, so whatever you put in the Backpack's account, you're going to make most out of it. To take advantage of this auto lend system, you have to enable auto lend. Where can I do that? Now let me explain to you. From this lend tab, we're going to go here, this mark, click it, and margin preference, and you can enable auto lend from here. And now it's done. Even if you're in future or let's say spot, we have this mark, so you can click here. We can enable auto lend or we can enable auto lend anytime you want. Let's keep enabled, okay? Okay, now we have learned all the basic trading functions on Backpack. And I guess this section is the most important part of this video. And what I'm going to show you now is delta neutral. And delta neutral is a very common trading strategy among professional traders. However, the concept is very, very easy. So what's the benefit of delta neutral strategy? Why professional traders still doing delta neutral? So for example, if you're lending your stablecoin on Backpack, maybe you're the one who wants to do this because delta neutral is taking so low risk to generate more yield than lending USD. So let me explain what the delta neutral is. So how to construct the delta neutral strategy is long Bitcoin and short the same amount of Bitcoin on perpetuals. So that means you're not going to be exposed to any of the risk from the Bitcoin price action. However, the risk that you're facing is fluctuation of the funding rate of the perpetuals. Okay, so before going into too much details, let's just try first, okay? I'm going to buy now Bitcoin on spot, let's say 0.01. I'm going to show you like right away buying Bitcoin. So I'm going to use the market order, 0.01 Bitcoin, just buy, right? And I see 0.01 roughly a Bitcoin in my portfolio. Original amount of this portfolio is about 2,000, okay? And then now we're going to futures. And I'm going to sell the same amount of Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin. And again, I'm going to sell it at the market and sell it, right? And now it's executed. So let's make sure what the position is at this moment. So now I have 0.01 roughly Bitcoin and also check the position and BTC perpetuals. I sold 0.01 Bitcoin. So roughly same amount of Bitcoin was sold as perpetuals. So that means I am not going to be exposed to any of the risk from Bitcoin price movement. So even if the price is going up or down, I'm not going to lose or make money from Bitcoin price action, right? So what's happening here is that I'm going to receive funding rates of these perpetual positions. Generally speaking, if the market is stable, funding rates that I can receive by shorting Bitcoin is about 10% annually. However, at this moment, the funding rate is negative, annually 5% roughly. So that means if this condition keeps going on, I have to pay 5% annually on this perpetual position. However, as the market stabilizes, this rate is going to be back to 10% annually. So I'm not really worried about this negative funding rate at this moment, but this is the current situation. And let me show you one more thing. And on the balance, we are still having roughly 825 US dollar. And this is going to be lent out and you're going to generate about 5% on this USD. You see what's happening? So originally I was having 2,000 US dollar, right? And I bought roughly 0.01 Bitcoin and I took the position on perpetuals, right? Roughly the same amount of this Bitcoin. However, in my portfolio, I still have US dollar of 825. You see what it means? What's happening? Normally, if you trade on other exchanges, if you take a perpetual positions, this US dollar is not going to remain in your portfolio and generating yield. This is not possible on other exchange. This is only possible on Backpack. So that means what I'm earning is I'm earning from funding rate of this perpetual delta neutral position. But at the same time, I'm going to earn some yield from this collaterals. This is really the beauty of Backpack margin system. Again, if you do this on other exchange, you're not going to get this USD earning 5% yield. However, on Backpack, you're going to make about 5% on this 825 US dollar. In total, you're going to earn roughly over 7% on the original capital of 2,000 US dollars. This 2% extra yield is massive. Let's check how significant it is. Let's say you have 10,000 US dollars. 10,000 US dollars. I'm going to calculate this on my mobile. And you're going to earn 2%. That means annually 200 US dollars. This is really big difference, right? Let's say you have 10,000 US dollar on your pocket and you're going to do this delta neutral strategy. maybe on other exchange or maybe on Backpack, but the difference is going to be annually 200 US dollars. Let's say you have 100,000 US dollars, the difference is going to be 2,000 US dollar. Let's say you have $1,000,000 US dollar, the difference is going to be 20,000 US dollar. I don't know how much is sitting on your bank account, but 2% is really massive. This is not a financial advice, but this is a magic moment. And I'm going to now show you other examples of by utilizing other functions. Okay, now we're going back to margin trading. How can I use the margin trading function to make money, right? Again, this is not a financial advice. I'm not going to tell anyone or recommend anyone to do any trade based off of these videos, okay? This is not a financial advice at all. But I want to show you how to use margin trading or what kind of situation we can use margin trading. It's actually quite useful when funding rate is negative. Let's see if there's any negative funding rates. Not much. There's a one barrel, but we have to have a spot also trading to do the margin trading. So not really applicable at this moment, but let's assume Bitcoin has quite a big negative funding rate. Negative funding rate meaning if you do long on futures, perpetuals on Bitcoin, you get to earn interest. If funding rate is positive, if you long, you have to pay interest, but if you short it, you get to receive interest every 8 hours. So let's assume this funding rate of Bitcoin is negative. And if we get to long on Bitcoin, we're going to earn interest on this, right? Somehow I want to hedge this long exposure. Then I can hedge with margin trading. And to show you how to use this strategy, I'm going to flat out all the Bitcoin, meaning I saw every Bitcoin that I have in my account and I just have like this USD in my account. So I'm going to start from flat position, just USD. So we're going to do two things. Sell Bitcoin on margin and also buy Bitcoin on perpetuals, okay? So whichever you can start from, but let's say I'm going to buy Bitcoin future of 0.01. We buy, okay, at the market. I don't like buy Bitcoin at market at this time, but to just show you, I'm just going to do it, okay? So I'm going to buy 0.01 Bitcoin, and now I have a Bitcoin long position, 0.01 Bitcoin. And now what I'm going to do is going to spot and sell 0.01 Bitcoin on margin. Okay, now the order is executed. Let's check the positions now. And my balance is changed. Now my USD is about 3,200. We started from about 2,000, right? So I sold Bitcoin on margin. So I sold more cash, but Bitcoin is negative, which is about 0.01 Bitcoin. And at the same time, on perpetuals, I'm long on Bitcoin about 0.01. And even if Bitcoin is moving up or down, my exposure is almost zero because I'm long and short on Bitcoin. I don't really get any effect on the price movement of Bitcoin. However, I'm supposed to earn money on this funding. We're assuming the funding rate of Bitcoin is negative, right? So every 8 hours, I was supposed to be earning a lot of interest on this. However, at the same time, I have to pay the interest rate of Bitcoin. And Bitcoin borrowing rate is 0.48, which is super small, right? So as long as I can earn more interest than borrowing Bitcoin, this trade is win. At the same time, I have more cash here. I have more cash, and on those cash, I'm going to make 6.84%. So as long as borrowing cost of this time, Bitcoin is lower than the funding rate, this trade is quite safe and I can make money. this is one example of how to use margin trading on Backpack Exchange. And this is not possible on most of the other exchanges because you do not get to earn interest on your collaterals, right? And also other DEX exchanges, they do not have a spot, so you do not have an option to do the margin trading. So this is quite an amazing example of how to utilize all this margin system in Backpack Exchange. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end.